So here we have a blogger from Digital Spy trying to, I guess, defend the retcon of force healing or explain it away from previous Star Wars. And it's a little hard to grasp, but let's see what you guys think. So she gives two examples of where this happens outside of The Rise of Skywalker. We want to note that technically force healing in The Mandalorian occurs chronologically before The Rise of Skywalker. The episode with the child, Baby Yoda, debuts this power was released after The Rise of Skywalker. So, okay, great. I didn't watch The Mandalorian. Maybe that occurs, but that's again after the fact. So, two different writers, maybe they shared notes, who knows. The main argument comes from this. The very first Star Wars movie featured something that could have very clearly been force healing, and we just never saw it. If you cast your mind back to A New Hope, you'll recall that Luke had a near-death fight. No, he didn't. He got knocked out somehow. And then Obi-Wan Kenobi comes by to save the day. With Luke unconscious, Obi-Wan bends over his body and puts his hand on Luke's forehead, puts his fingertips on either side of Luke's temples, which, as far as we know, isn't a way to check for a pulse or a fever or anything really. Well, he actually did check for a pulse. Let's just see what happens here. So here's the fight. Gets it in the solar plexus, fine. So that's the fight. That's all we see. And then all they do is drag Luke off and just leave him there, and he's unconscious. So it's assumed he got a concussion. He must have been hit in the head, but we don't know where the bruising is. We don't know what happened. It just happens. Then old Ben comes by and scares them off just by walking by. And then here he is. So he grabs his wrist, checks for his pulse, puts his hands on his temples, and voila, that's it. That's the whole scene. So would I call that force healing? Of course not. Force healing occurs from The Rise of Skywalker, where you're dead and then you come back to life, or you're heavily scarred and those scars heal up. Now, if there was a concussion, great, but there was no evidence of a concussion. We assume it was a concussion because he's collapsed. He's either exhausted or concussed and knocked out on the ground. And Ben just touches his skull, and voila, he wakes up.
Friend, don't worry, he'll be all right.
Yeah, so he just wakes up. That's it. That's all that happens. So I would not call that force healing. Maybe the Jedi can do mind tricks and can have states of lucidity or consciousness. That makes more sense. But really, there's not much in the way of force. There's not much in the way of theatrics or sleight of hand or mysticism. He just touches his temples. So I wouldn't call that force healing per se. What do you guys think? I want to know, because that seems like a pretty weak argument for evidence of force healing. But what do you guys think? Leave in the comments. Thanks for listening. Have yourself a great day.